In the first Lexington program, we found out that there are a maximum of 5,000 lines in this 359 Lexington step that we're calling from. The numbers range from 359-2000 to 359-6999. The first selector of the switching train is where the Lexington incoming stuff appears. So when you pick up your phone and dial 359, the register sender just drops out and lets you dial the rest of the number directly into the switching train. It's a very simple and direct way to do it, and it'll work as long as this place doesn't grow too much. The switching train is as follows. 1 goes to the long-distance trunk, 2 through 6 are the 1,000 groups of the 359 exchange, 7 goes to the ESS tandem for local calls to Columbia, at least for some of them, 8 goes to a second selector, and 9 was permanently busied out, probably a vacant level. 0 goes to the cordboard operator in Columbia. So what's left to explore in the switching train? Well, the 8s. 8-0 went to ringback. We found that out last time. Let's see what's on 8-1. I'll dial 359 to make the register sender drop, and then 8-1. Well, this is certainly a very hummy trunk to another building. Let's try dialing a digit. Okay, now a few more.
The number you have reached is not in service at this time. Please consult the telephone directory or call the information operator, 803-356.
(803-356) is the other office code in Lexington. We didn't know this, but 356 and 359 are not in the same building. Because when we first went into the trunk, yeah, that, and a trunk between two entities in the same building just doesn't hum like that. Fortunately, the hum goes away as soon as the trunk becomes balanced, which occurs when we go to the intercept, and the busy signal in between the rings is typical of NX1.
The number you have reached is not in service at this time.
As is the muffled recording, and of course, ending the whole thing with a loud busy signal is classic NX1, the crossbar system by North Electric. If we just pick up the phone here and dial 356, you can hear the register sender dialing 81. Although the 1 sounds almost like a 2 due to an extra click it puts in there, but it's 81. And then the last 4 digits are repeated as we dial them.
The number you have reached is not in service at this time. Please consult the telephone directory or call the information operator, 803-356.
Okay, let's see what's on 82 by dialing 359 to drop the register sender, and then 82. Say what? The 2 sounded like it absorbed. Let's dial it again. Oh, you're kidding. It's absorbing repeatedly. This makes no sense at all in an office that has a register sender. There's no need for digit-absorbing selectors in the outgoing switching train. Here's another 2. You see, it's as many 2s as I want to dial. Now here's 1. And here we are in 356. Those 2s didn't do anything.
The number you have reached is not in service at this time.
I'd like to know what, if anything, is on the 8-2, but we can't find out because 2 on the 8 selector absorbs repeatedly. Now, later as we go through the selector, we might find that some digit is wired to absorb once, and if that's the case, we'll then be able to see what, if anything, is on 8-2. But in the meantime, all we can do is go on to 8-3. Here's 359 to drop, followed by 8-3. Sounds strangely quiet. I'll try dialing a few 1s. Nothing. Looks like it's, oh, it's an ESS.
Again, this is a recording. The first 3 digits you have dialed are incorrect. Please check your number and dial again. This is a recording. The first 3...
Okay, ESS tandem on 8-3 also.
That is the same ESS as we're getting on 7. We heard that in the last program. It had the same recording. And the way these tandem trunks work is that once you start dialing, if you dial anything that amounts to a vacant code, it will wait until you have given up on dialing any more digits before it finally times out to the recording. That's why it seemed like we were high and dry, but actually it was waiting for me to finish dialing so that it could then give me the recording. So that is the same Columbia ESS, and in the final program of Lexington, I'll show you how this trunk group on 8-3 with that other trunk group on 7 are used to reach Columbia. I should say that this is the first, I think, in my life, exposure to 4th generation T-carrier, at least in the Bell system. I had not heard this in New York. This is so quiet and so relatively high quality that at the time, standing there in Lexington, I didn't even know it was T-carrier. You know, I don't even recognize that as T-carrier if I go back to my March 1977 ears. Now, it's obvious, it's just one of the best ones. But when T-carrier came in 1969, I mean, we were hearing stuff like this. Okay, so when I heard this, I just wasn't quite sure what I was hearing. Is it a wire trunk? No. Seems too open, doesn't resonate. So I was stumped there for a while. It wasn't until I got to Atlanta and started hearing some more of this stuff. And of course Atlanta had all kinds of T-carrier, mostly lousy. But there was some good stuff that I began to realize that it actually had, in the late 70s at long last, become worthwhile. Still didn't have any charm. But anyway, one more thing about that last call is that when ESS came in, we all sort of assumed that it was so modern that it would put an end to talk lines. But in fact, there was a small amount of crosstalk with those original announcement machines that it had. You can hear it here. You can hear someone pressing a touchtone and shouting.
This is a recording. The first 3 digits you have dialed are incorrect.
Let's enhance that. What is she saying? Sounds like John. So our first impressions of number 1 ESS were actually wrong. We thought it was going to be modern and sterile, but in fact it was capable of some amazing openings. You just heard one there, but then there were some even stronger examples. Back to Lexington, we were going through the 8s. Let's dial 359 to drop the register sender and then 84. Not again. Okay, it's absorbing repeatedly again. Makes no sense. So we don't know what's on 4. It just absorbs repeatedly. Maybe we'll find out later. Here's a 5. Again, lots of dialing audible on top of the reorder tone. 5 is a busied out level. What this probably means is that 5 is simply a vacant level, and vacant level intercept is permanently busy. So let's try 86. This has definitely gone somewhere. Let me try dialing a few more digits.
Telephone repair.
Okay, the local repair is on 86.
Okay, so we dialed 86, and we got silence. Then we dialed a few more digits and waited some more, and then repair answered without a ringtone ever coming on. Let's see what happens when we dial 611.
Telephone repair.
What the register sender dialed was 86 and then 611. I can't believe all of that was really necessary, but here it is. You know, they could put other functions on those 86 trunks, so that if you dial 86 and then you don't dial 611 or 11 or something, you don't get repair, you get something else, maybe a test line. But I don't really think they did it. I think the 611 being dialed by the register sender was completely unnecessary, so that if you pick up the switching train and just dial 86 and sit there, they're going to pick up the phone and say repair service. Let's try that. Yep, he picked up the phone. He was about to say repair service, so I just hung up. Nice to know you can hang up on repair service in this phone company. Sometimes in United telephone companies like Carolina Telephone, you can't. All right, what's on 87?
What city?
Columbia.
May I help you?
Number for time of day?
252-6341.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
87 is where dedicated trunks to Southern Bell's directory assistants are. It's on T-Carrier, and I don't think they need to provide that loud tone to tell the operator I'm calling from a coin phone. So now let's actually dial 411, and we'll let the register sender dial 87, plus maybe some additional digits, who knows.
Operator 511, what city?
Lexington.
May I help you?
Do you have a time of day number in Lexington?
One moment. I don't show a number listed for a time in Lexington. There is one in Columbia you can dial.
The number in Columbia?
It's 252-6341.
252-6341. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, that was just normal. The register sender dialed 87. Nothing extra. Let's try 88. That's another, I think, vacant level. Let's see what happens if we dial 89 into the outgoing switching train. Aha, 89 absorbs. Now let's dial 9 again. Absorbs once. Dial 9 again and the level is busied out. So this is the absorbs once digit that we've been looking for. We couldn't get in on the 2 level or the 4 level because those are absorbed repeatedly, which made no sense. But now that we can dial 892 and 894, we can cut into those levels. And what is there is no coincidence, because there are 2 offices we haven't even called yet.
Gilbert and Pillion.
That's Gilbert 892 and Pillion 894. And it turns out the switching train is arranged so that the register sender must literally dial 892 to reach Gilbert or 894 to reach Pillion. What this suggests is that things have not changed in a way that they could have since the days before there was a register sender. So the 8 selector is very much as it was in the old days before there was a register sender, because the register sender still has to dial 892. Now that there's a register sender, they could have eliminated the need for the 9 and saved register sender time. Let's see how it goes through when we just pick up the phone normally and call Gilbert 892. Oh, you're kidding. It waits for the customer to dial 892 and then it dials it? Here's the rest of a number.
This time, please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed.
Now, I don't know the limitations of this particular register sender, but there has got to be a better way, especially when you consider that when you pick up the phone and dial 8, that digit initially is pulsed into the switching train. In other words, when you do this, I picked up the phone and dialed an 8, and the 8 has been sent. Now, at some point, maybe it happened there after the 9, it actually dropped the selector, so as to then have to redial the 8 again here. Unbelievable. You know, this actually makes a difference because you have to have more register senders if you are going to hold them for extra time to needlessly redial the 8. Maybe they just didn't read the instructions. Anyway, here's a call to Gilbert, dialed normally, that rings. Hey, it dropped out 1 digit early. I have seen this in other places, and it usually doesn't happen consistently. It didn't happen on the last call, but here you can tell. Yeah, that's the T-carrier noise to Gilbert. Okay, so we'll dial the last digit directly. Nice ringtone, one of my favorites, although it's on T-carrier. But a funny thing happens on the next stop, not the next program, but the next stop. You actually get to hear that ring locally, even though it's not a local call. So it's T-carrier from here, but from the next stop, a Bell System place, you hear that same ring over wire trunks, actually 2 end to end. Okay, let's call into Gilbert directly. I'll dial 359 to drop the register sender, and then we'll have to dial 8, 9, which will absorb, then the 2, that'll cut into the trunk, and then a vacant level.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed. Please consult your directory.
Okay, so what that was dialing 359, 8, 9, and the 9 was absorbed, 2. That put me into the 892 office. The 2 dialed without the 9 is absorbed repeatedly. I went through that before. On the 8 selector, 4 was absorbed repeatedly. If I dial 894, I'll probably go into the 894 office, and let me try that now. Dialing 359 to drop the director, and then 8, 9, which is absorbed, 4.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed.
That's the recording in 894, Pelion, which in a later program I mispronounced Pelion. I didn't know how to pronounce it. The operator told me Pegan. Anyway, now here is dialing 894 normally. When we first dial the 8, the register sender repeats that pulse by pulse into the switching train. But as with 892, it ends up taking that back and then redialing it again. So once we dial the 4, that's when it dials the entire office code, and then from that point on, it's just repeating our digits one at a time.
Recording. The number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Please consult your directory or dial the operator and ask for information. This is a recording. The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Here's a ringing number in Pelion 894, dialed normally. In the last program, you heard me discovering ringback on 80, which was a good place for it since 80 is the published code for ringback, and we're finding out that selector 8 is very much as it was in the old days before the register sender. Here's dialing 80 plus 2 digits normally. Okay, I've dialed the 8, and the 8 has been pulsed into the switching train, but for whatever reason, they're going to waste it. When I dial 0, there will be a pause, during which time the register sender is hanging up the selector, then picking it up again. After the pause, you'll hear it dialing 8, then 0. Hang up, pause, 8, 0. I dialed 1 twice, and now we're on the ringback, which is silent. Going to hang up. It rang the bell, and you heard a little bit of the ring current there when I picked up the phone. So the way they used the register sender here was not the most efficient way, but it is what it is. And you can tell something is amiss just from the way the partial dial was handled. I showed you that in Program 1. Well, that is all for this program, but we haven't called Columbia to any significant degree yet. So in Program 3, I'll show you how we call Columbia. That's next.